Hey, I'm going to do the progression from parrying that I hate to parrying I only kind of hate. The reason I say that is actually you should just attack into everything, and you should use the attack that like fucking wins, but that'll send you insane and you may actually feel like you get worse. So this is the scaffold going from learning bad fencing, or in nicer words, military sabre, to progressing from that to something that can start making you, just in this little level up, probably in most circles in fencing, start doing some mean shit. Now I'm going to use a rapier for this, and it's because it's the stick I have. That's it. So first thing I want to look at is just the quintessential parry. The quintessential parry being your strong goes in the way of their weak, and most people like, like the middle it gets a bit foggy and I can't tell where I'm parrying, so they start parrying it with only this section, the strong of the strong, and then they start doing this weird thing of like, yeah, but here feels a bit wibbly, so I'm just going to start doing like this last chunk. Everything goes wrong. So David, can I just get you to just throw a couple of cuts, and I'll just get you to angle around this way, so you'll be here just so people can see more. Yes, yeah, cool. So I'll just get you to cut over here, Bob. I go to do this parry, and see I'm parrying with this chunk, and you go to boom. Cool. Every one of these parries on his bounce off, something will happen, and David's very polite. He's so fucking polite. So like, you go to cut, do the organic, oh look at that organic bounce off, right? That was beautiful. Now we could get very cope and be like, oh well, it wasn't like that much of a cut. I don't want you touching me with a sharp sword there. I don't give a fuck. I'm being real martial about this. If you touch me with a sharp sword, I might have a bad day, so I just shouldn't let you touch me with it. Right, and you gotta cut. Yeah, right? Ooh, here's another thing that does occur. You don't have a knuckle bow, or maybe you have a brain disease. You go to cut, and I just do this. And I just punch the fucking sword, and that's always fun. Or like, you cut here, boom, boom, cool. I do that second one slow, boom, and you go, oh, what if I went round, and I punch it with my hand. Or even funnier, I'm gonna go parry in, then I'm gonna botch this parry, you're gonna hit the outside of my hand. Boom. Let's imagine I have a knuckle bow, but I botch this parry and you slam me in the hand, right? The issue with this is that I'm chasing with my hand, and only this section. So I've got my win position, I've got my aren't I lucky position, and my insta-lose position, all within this much of each other. That sounds fucking insane to do. And no, it's insane. That's not how you have fun. And if your guard helps you, that's cool. If you've got a sabre, and it's a nice like full guard that covers over the top, or a broadsword. I am a broadsword person. To some extent. And then it misses, and then it just hits you in the arm. So you've got like, whoa, lucky I parried it with my guard and it still bounced into my arm. Fuck. Or lucky I parried it with my arm. Like it all goes to shit because you're searching with this much fucking, a max of this much fucking meat. Cool, and this moves slow, and then your weak is just literally a rudder or a tail to a ship going nowhere the whole fucking time. So like you start drowning. You start swimming and drowning. And as you're drowning in that, the best you can sometimes do is a botched parry, botched counter, riposte. I mean, it's kind of a counteraction if they redouble, if you want to pull your dick about it. But come back. So the first thing I want to actually get people to think about to progress out of this fucking hope for the dream parrying is what a circle parry is trying to teach you. What a circle parry is trying to teach you. Circle parries are like, I could just draw a circle and it envelops their sword as something comes in. So David does like a cut towards the inside of my cheek, and I just draw a circle, and as I draw that circle, you can see that it envelops and guides in the attack into the strong. It's really neat. And same happens on the outside. Like this. And it causes this sick graduation. So you're still trying to learn, because you're still trying to figure out how to evolve past that. What I want you to think about is, as David goes to cut me, at first I want to be keeping my weak away so that they don't try and take it into account too much. If I put my point in front of David, he may be very smart and then just attack through my weak and then go zing. That's fucking brilliant. Big brain. But we're being dumber than that right now. So let's like remove that option. Now, if he's very smart, he'll perceive that this comes up into play, but like, I don't give a fuck right now. So as he cuts in, my goal is either my weak on the strong or my weak on the weak. It doesn't fucking matter. I just want to touch the damn sword. That way, it can just, as he continues in, end up in my strong. If I can make him end up in my strong by this, that's cool. And I can pressure it. I can just do it in a mean, just no. And I can just pressure like I'm going, eh. Come on. Now, try and do the cut from before. Nice, right? Now it's really difficult to do that secondary one, right? Yeah. Now the secondary one did go crack and bounce, and that's fine because we're really worrying about this first attack and just how it disrupts and makes your life worse, right? This scoop, this pressure here makes his redoubled attack just a bit hellish. He has to do it himself. I don't inspire him. If I just parry with my strong, it fucking tells him to bounce off. It shoves him off into the ether, and he goes, yes, I am listening. If I do this shove in this kind of semi-circle, like I'm doing the first half of the circle, or even the first third or quarter, to just go, no, into my strong you go. And then his next attack, I want to go bomb, and I want to keep doing the same thing. I want to keep doing this little semi-circle, keep dragging him in. This is really cool because as he attacks, we start here, and the sword's still coming at me. But as I pressure over, this angle makes it ramp straight into my hilt, and that helps me every fucking time. Even if he's trying to hit me, my hilt's in the way. My hilt was here in the way, and it dragged an attack that was doing this to become an attack that's doing this, because he can't get through my blade. Now this can fall apart if he's smart and he attacks slow enough. This is really for against people just doing blisteringly fast, hyper-committed attacks, because you'll be like, I don't give a fuck. But if he goes slow enough and he feels that, he may cut at me slowly. Well, he may feel that he's getting dragged in, and maybe there's a yield and a thrust, or even a stay on my weak with your strong. No yield. Just stay on my strong and cut through. Yeah, right? He can redouble the attack on the I've got your weak, can I attack through your weak? I don't know many people who can actually do that, and if you meet one of them, cool. Fence better. So we're just trying to do these little shoving actions that make their attack finish there. Now if David goes to the correct depth where his point will be past me because he's trying to cut me, it's still not gonna fucking hit me. If we end up strong on strong, his next tempo might actually fucking yield and hit, and then I'm gonna like fucking play fencing. But at least I'm using these shoves, these little ramp into my hilts to make the situation better. And this is really cool because the feeling on the other end is like they've gone into a place that they never perceived, and it is slightly softer than the harsh whack parries. Really fucking rad. Cool. This falls apart when you want to riposte nicely. So if you have right of way, this is actually really cool. You can just circle parry in, boom, I've parried, and then I can hit you. But his redouble might actually just fucking sing me. And that's because I've found his sword, not in the tempo I'm attacking. And it means that actually, like, in the tempo I'm attacking, I'm unfinding his sword. I'm freeing his sword, and he's going zing. Now, some of the astute of you will say, we'll just do the attack that keeps him found. That's cool. He's currently in my strong. David goes, I don't like that. If he says I don't like that, but he has a brain disease, I get to collect his weak and hit him. This is brilliant. But let's assume he has not disabled. And he goes, oh, I'm in your strong. I go to keep it in the strong, and he goes, fuck this, I'm not staying in your strong. Right? So we'll go through the whole thing. Yeah, right? You can just choose, like, but I'm in your strong, I better leave. And I go to collect it, and I've absolutely fucked the whole thing. Welcome to tempo, don't tell anyone. So actually, this kind of defense really isn't super flash unless they're so bamboozled by the way they've been parried that they don't know how to respond. Which is fucking plethora. Just the average historical fencer, they will cry if you parry like this, and you will get out of pools, and you may top 8, and in your locals you may just fucking medal or win just doing this. It's a joke. Alright, so I'm not shitting on this as a principle, I'm shitting on it because it does fall apart later on. Boom, so go to cut. So David's going to free himself in the next tempo. Fuck! Right, it all goes to shit, only because he is smart or dumb. You're either one or the other. Cool. So now we want to change this that it's no longer boom, but actually what are we doing the moment it crosses the halfway point? Are we still just going like, cool, and it's in the strong, and I'm going to wait for it to be in the strongest? That's a whole amount of my life. And now that you're disrupted, I'm going to feel so cool about this graduation that maybe I'll do something. And most people that'll work on. But as we get to just crossing the halfway point, I want to use the moment that it crosses the halfway point to actually begin my next action, which is where it gets really fun. Right? So all of a sudden, I'm parrying cuts with my weak. My weak is swimming around through Narnia, and it's just trying to touch the sword. And once it touches the sword and it's guiding a committed action in, I can start changing things. Oh, that's one of the nicest flank thrusts I think I've ever done. Once it passes this halfway point, I can go, oh, boom, and I get to blast an attack. It may be a thrust. It may be a parry in, boom, cut. It can be all these, it doesn't fucking matter what it is, but I'm using the moment that it's crossing into the strong as my moment to be hitting them, to be doing something with it, as opposed to, cool, it's in the strong, let's let it finish, then in your bamboozlement I can start attacking. I'm now going, cool, you don't even know that you're going to end up in my strong soon, and then once you're in my strong, I've already started my attack. That's, wow, we're already having more fun suddenly. We've cut a whole moment out of this chain of actions, and my defending to attacking has shortened, and I am perceivably faster by the other fencer, but for me, I'm too busy chilling out and fencing. So David, cut, cut, boom. Can I get you to cut here, boom, cool, and then I've botched it. So David goes, cool, I'm going to go around, and I touch, and I'm like, oh, boom. Suddenly funny giradas and funny spins can live in these spaces. I'll get you to come a bit closer here. Boom, there we go, boom. Go and cut over, boom. Cool, I didn't fit the attack, so I actually redoubled my defense while going backwards. David redoubles his attack, boom, boom. All of a sudden I'm using the ramping. Ramping has this connotation of like ramping up, but I don't want you, the person listening to this, to be so damn wrong. I want you to think of it as an actual ramp, like driving up a ramp, or like putting a bowling ball down a ramp because you have bumpers on the sides and you're 4 and you're going bowling. I mean, yeah, most HEMAists are 4-year-olds.
I am.
Yeah. So you want to use this ramp to guide it down here, and you're just guiding them into the place you want them to be in the future. And then once they're almost in the future you were looking for, you cackle while jamming that through. Cool, we've gone from no longer parrying like a fucking discus with swimming around with your strong in your hand and breaking your hand and needing pro gauntlets to be able to touch your partner ever again. No, we're now looking with our weak and guiding it in, and now we're shortening that idea to, oh, it will be in the strong in the future. This is to my benefit. I'll attack during the future. That sounds like I'm on mushrooms. Now, cool. Now, part of this that you can then make even grosser, we can evolve this further. Because during these actions, I go zing, right? I start searching, I'm searching with my weak, and David is a dexterous fuck, and just swizzles around, and instead of at least the hellhole of searching with my strong, I'm at least lightly searching with my weak and still getting a bit bamboozled, and I'm going backwards, and I'm hoping for the dream. Now I get to softly just re-guide the sword, and I'm no longer searching with one-handed crumps. I'm now searching with thrusts. I get to evolve this further where I'm not, so he goes to cut, I'm not searching with this lateral action, this lateral whack guide. I'm now just going, I'm gonna thrust at the fucking thing, and notice I haven't thwacked his sword. I also then don't commit my hand or my arm in a fun way. So David goes to cut, I thrust at it, and instead of this thwack thrust, I now get to go thrust, thrust! I've done one thrust to defend against a cut, but it wasn't this mathematical idea of, yes, I'm doing this thrust to win. No, I'm doing this squirrely fucking nightmare thrust that I shouldn't make any jokes about. Here comes the aeroplane. And I just thrust through. I'm like, oh, but currently I'm thrusting Woody Craig over there in the head instead of David. He's still not in shot. There we go. So I'm currently thrusting him in the head, but that's not a scoring action. So as I change from weak to strong, I go, oh, I need to thrust that one. I thrust this attack, and then I thrust this person. So David goes to cut, boom, I thrust and I thrust. And it's not 1, 2. No, it's just one squirrely fucking nightmare thrust. I thrust my weak into the interaction to actually get what's the word that Fabrice uses when you intersect or something like that. And they're like, cool, now I'm going to, cool, I thrusted this spot. All right, now I've got to make sure my hilt hits that spot while I hit here. So in the moment of collecting their weak, in the same action, I'm freeing my weak. In the same action, my weak is getting unfreed because it's hitting them. Cool, we've transferred from nightmare parries to viciously harsh circle parries that just envelop things, to soft circle parries that attack halfway through, to thrusts that start thrusting somewhere else and end thrusting on the person. We've now gone all the way to some fucking sick shit. And then my final thing that I want to add to this is, instead of just doing it arm-centric, I'm not going to I'm not going to tell you how to use this cue. I'm going to draw from Fabrice discussing Rapier against Spear. If you know all the previous things, and I just give this one dot point, you can figure it out. And I believe in you. Or I don't, and I don't care. I want you to point your foot towards the interaction to make all these actions better. I don't know if you know what that means, but I do know you may figure it out. Or I'll have to see you in person.